Yeah, well, I'm from Philly and he's from Philly.
Philly, yeah.
My family is from Pennsylvania, so I
Where?
He's going to make a distinction.
Well, Pennsylvania is big and long.
David, we're ready?
Oh, sorry.
We are.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Dearborn Board of Education special meeting for the P12, Thursday, September 4th, 2025. It is 6:01. I call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Trustee Al-Jahmi.
Here.
Trustee D'Ambrosio.
Here.
Trustee Petlichkov.
Here.
Trustee Zahar here. President Mozip.
Here, thank you. I'll be leading everyone with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
No talking from the front.
So next item is discussion board vacancy applicant interviews. This is round 2, if you will, for interviewing for the 2 vacancies. We've had multiple people interview on Tuesday, and we're looking forward to the interviews today. The same questions have been shared with all of the candidates, and they were as follows. Why are you interested in serving on the Board of Trustees at this time? And what specific skills or qualifications do you believe you would bring to this board? What do you see the roles and responsibilities of a school board member? And question number 3 was identify a recent board decision that you felt strongly about and describe how would you balance community concerns, student needs, state and federal law, staff considerations, and your personal values and beliefs to determine your vote on the issue. And today we will begin with Ms. Amira Abuhmoud. And Ms. Abuhmoud, you have 5 minutes to answer the 5 questions. I'll just give you fair warning at the 4.5-minute mark.
Perfect.
Floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. My name is Amira Abuhmoud, and I'm currently an undergraduate student at the University of Detroit-Mercy. I'm interested in serving on the Dearborn Public Schools Board of Education because I believe education is the foundation for every student's success. And I'd like to give back to the community that has provided me with several opportunities to be where I am today. As a lifelong Dearborn resident and class of 24 graduate of Dearborn Public Schools, I have seen both the opportunities and the challenges that students can face today. Coming from a younger generation, I believe that I can bring a fresh and different perspective and help bridge connections between students, families, and staff. My experience in college with balancing academics, leadership roles, community service, as well as managing my own business and participating in research has also given me insight into what prepares students for life beyond the school. For me, being a school board member means being a trustee for the community and always putting students first. This means putting their learning first, their safety, and their opportunities. I grew up in Dearborn Public Schools my whole life, and I have experienced firsthand how the board's decisions not just affects students, but whole families. This is what motivates me, making sure that the future students have the same, if not better, opportunities than what I was provided with when I was in school. Parents, students, and staff need to feel heard, and I want to be that listener and advocate for all of them. At the same time, I know that the board's decisions is not managing the day-to-day basis. That's obviously for the administration, but it's to provide an oversight and a clear vision that reflects Dearborn Public Schools' values and prepares our students for success far after graduation. One recent decision or policy that I felt strong about was the board's letter of understanding with the Dearborn Federation of Teachers regarding boundary line exemptions and evaluations. I believe that this was a positive step because it provided and supported our staff while still keeping student success at the center, which is obviously what everybody wants. Allowing teachers to have their children attend schools closer to where they work makes life more convenient for them and helps strengthen their community and helps strengthen their connections to the school community. When teachers feel supported, they can give their all back to the students. And as the 3rd largest school district in Michigan, our decisions truly set the tone for thousands of families. With this issue, it was important to balance the community concerns about enrollment and making sure there's space for everyone, the state and federal laws on closed boundaries, and what the staff need in order to have the students succeed. Personally, I believe that investing in teachers directly invests in students, and that's why I supported decisions like this that provide fairness and convenience for staff while still protecting opportunities for every child in Dearborn. So, thank you for having me.
You still have 2 minutes if you'd like to share anything else.
Overall, I just really think that Dearborn Public Schools needs a younger advocate on the board to provide a closer connection with the Dearborn Public Schools. And as somebody that graduated recently, I think that I would be a fit candidate for this position.
Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
time, Ms. Abuhmoud.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. The next candidate we have is Mr. Ayham MishMishan. Mr. MishMishan, you have 5 minutes to answer the questions that were already provided to you. I'll just give you a fair warning at the 4.5-minute mark. Okay. Floor is yours whenever you're ready.
Peace and blessing be upon you all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today I am here not in the Imam outfit, but not only as an Imam. I am here as a neighbor, as a community leader, and as somebody ready to serve all Dearborn children. Our young generation is struggling and facing depression, suicidal thoughts, bullying, and loneliness. I have seen these cases. I have been trained to respond, and I have earned their trust. Our youth understand me, and most important, I understand them. We also see more children with autism and across all the spectrum of neurodiversity. Their road to graduation and college becoming harder and harder. I want to make sure our schools provide the right support so every child has a fair chance to explore their full potential. That is my mission: listening, mentorship, and a real support for students and families. Because when families know we are backing them, children grow and succeed. I also bring leadership as a nonprofit director, educator, and community leader, managing budget, building partnership, and uniting people. Student first, families supported, and trust honored. The role of a trustee is to set vision, make policy, adopt budget and budgets, hire and evaluate superintendent, and build community trust. Always remember why we do this. The answer is the students. To me, that means 3 responsibilities. First, to protect their well-beings, safe schools, mental health, mentorship. Second, advanced learning, literacy, graduation, career readiness. Third, build trust with families, staff, specifically teachers and community. And in that trust, we must also honor our teachers. Our job is not to micromanage them, but to make sure they are supported, respected, and equipped with the tools they need. On the 2025-26 budget decisions, I would weigh it all through 5 priorities. First, community. Families want safety. Smaller classes, clear communication. Second, students, mental health, counselors, preventing crisis. The third, law. Comply with the state and federal requirements. Fourth, staff, especially teachers, who deserve fair pay, training, and resources. Fifth, values, fairness, dignity, support, and every dollar should serve the students. Before I close, I want to share something personal. I have a child who graduated from Etzilford, and he's in Henry Ford College right now, and I'm very proud of him. And I have younger children that they will be in the school system soon. Our community need us to lead them, not just as a trustees, but as people who really care and guide their own children. Thank you so
Mr.
much.
Mish- Thank you, Mr. MishMishan. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Next applicant is Miss Linda Charara. Welcome, Ms. Charara. You have 5 minutes to answer the questions that were already provided to you. I'll just give you a fair warning at the 4.5-minute mark.
Okay,
Floor is yours whenever you're ready.
thank you. Hello, thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. First and foremost, I am deeply committed to putting students first. I am a product of Dearborn Schools, a graduate of the University of Michigan, and a proud parent with children in our district, with one graduating this year from the collegiate program. As a mom, I understand that the hopes, challenges, and concerns that parents face, and I know how important it is to keep students at the very center of every decisions that we make. Throughout my career, I've been an advocate not just for students, but for parents and staff as well. I truly believe that supporting all three groups is what makes a school community thrive. I've spent over 25 years in education, earning a master's degree and having had the privilege of working with students and educators across every stage of learning from preschool through 12th grade. I've taught in both elementary and middle school classrooms, so I know firsthand the challenges that teachers and students face every day. Later, in addition to also being an instructional coach, I served as an administrator for over 10 years, and now I work as an educational consultant with HMH and NWEA. We partner with schools in Dearborn, across Michigan, across the nation, and internationally. Most of my work focuses on analyzing data, improving instruction, and helping schools implement best practices. Here in Dearborn, I've had the privilege of also serving on the district strategic planning committee last year as a parent. As an administrator, I've also worked closely with many school boards in my school, actually, where we balanced budgets and made important infrastructure decisions. As a consultant, I've collaborated with many superintendents, administrators, and staff across the country and all over the world to make decisions that truly drive student success. I've also led school accreditation processes for over 15 years, ensuring that schools meet and adhere to high standards. I co-own also the Oasis Institute for Outreach and Education in Dearborn, where we focus on outreach and initiatives that strengthen our youth and our community through learning. And outside of Dearborn, outside of education, I'm also a real estate agent with KW Legacy in Dearborn. That work has also sharpened my skills in strategic planning, financial oversight, negotiation, and community engagement. So together, my education and professional experience has given me a unique perspective to connect with many different people, plan effectively, and manage resources responsibly. Dearborn School's motto, inspire, educate, and celebrate, really truly reflects what I value most. We inspire students by believing in their potential. We educate by providing the resources and the support they need to thrive. And then we celebrate their growth and accomplishments as a community. That's the vision that I would carry forward as a board member. The role of the board is to set a clear vision, establish those thoughtful policies, balance budgets, oversee resources responsibly, and then support and hold the superintendent accountable. But most importantly, every decision has to put students first. A strong board balances student needs, staff perspectives, community voices, and legal requirements, while also staying focused on equitable and high-quality education for all students. The board faces many tough decisions. Things like boundary changes, the recent removal of 2 books from libraries, hiring a new superintendent, selecting the next president for Henry Ford College, and also ensuring the success of infrastructure bonds. All of these decisions will shape the future of our schools and community and require careful planning, transparency, and collaboration. I believe in listening to staff and parents, supporting every student, collaborating with board members, and relying on data and community input. Guided by my honesty, my empathy, my values, my equity and transparency, when voting, I will make decisions that respect families while also keeping our schools inclusive and student-focused.
30 seconds.
As a Dearborn graduate and a mom and a leader and someone who spent decades supporting students in my educational career, I understand how much every decision affects children and families. I'm going to work very closely with board members and parents to ensure that every child feels safe and inspired and has the resources to succeed to help and strengthen our schools and our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Charara, for your time.
Thank you.
Applying.
Bye-bye.
Next applicant is Ms. Angela Khater. Is that for us? Sure. Okay. Perfect. Ms. Khater, you've been provided the questions, the 5 questions. You have 5 minutes to answer them. I'll just give you a warning at the 4.5-minute mark.
Yep.
Floor is yours whenever you're ready.
Right. Good evening, board members. 12 years ago, a doctor said one word that changed everything: autism. In that moment, when my son was diagnosed, I had 2 choices: accept the limitations or shatter them. I chose to shatter them. I walked away from a successful career and pursued a new mission, fighting for children. I earned my place in Western Michigan University's top-ranked graduate program in behavior analysis, even though on paper I didn't qualify. Because when your child's future is on the line, the impossible becomes your starting point. Since then, I've been appointed by the governor to serve on the Michigan Board for Behavior Analysts. I am the chair for the Wayne County Parent Advisory Committee. I completed my fellowship with the Michigan Leadership Education and Neurodevelopment and Related Disabilities Training Program. I served on the state's Special Education Advisory Committee in Lansing. Families and schools across the state now call me to conduct independent evaluations, ensuring their child's unique needs are addressed, and I helped launch Dearborn Public Schools Special Ed PTA. But more than just titles, I bring something deeper. I'm a mother of 3 beautiful children in this district. I live the reality of our schools every single day. Dearborn Public Schools serves 20,000 children, including 2,000 in special ed. I collaborate with teachers, administrators, and families constantly, and I know what's at stake. To me, a school board member is a steward of trust. It's not about politics or titles. It's about transparency, accountability, and above all, student success. It means balancing community voices and federal and state requirements and staff needs while never losing sight of who we serve, our students first. And we can't forget our teachers. They are on the front lines every single day, giving their all with limited resources. Supporting our teachers means supporting our students, because when our teachers thrive, our students thrive. One decision I felt strongly about was the $240 million BRICS bond proposal in 2029. It was designed to fund repairs, renovations, safety upgrades, and address all the needs of our school buildings, many of them with aging infrastructures. The bond was defeated by just 470 votes. That showed me that the community wasn't against better schools. They just wanted long-term solutions they can clearly see and believe in. That's why transparency matters. Just recently, Dearborn held a study session and brought in a consultant to prepare for the next bond. I was one of those people interviewed during that process. I was one voice, but there are many. Dearborn wants transparency, and families want long-term solutions they can trust. When families are engaged early, when priorities are explained clearly, and when people understand exactly how their investments translate into safer, stronger schools for decades to come, they will stand behind it. As a board member, that's the leadership I bring. A collaborative, transparent approach focused on building real solutions. Let's be honest, every candidate here tonight wants a seat, but my kids taught me something powerful. Every barrier broken for one child clears the path for every child. I was born and raised in Dearborn. I am a product of Dearborn Public Schools. These schools shaped me. Now, as a mother, an advocate, and as a clinical director for an autism company, I fight every single day to make sure our children don't just have opportunities, they have extraordinary ones. There may be 37 other candidates, but there's only one candidate who's already spent 12 years proving that when you put children first, miracles happen. One candidate who doesn't just promise the change, who is the change. 12 years ago, they told me my son would never succeed. They were wrong. Tonight, you can choose the status quo, or you can choose the advocate who will fight for every child in this district and put students first. Because Dearborn's children deserve nothing less. I am that mother. I am that advocate. I am that fighter. I am that board member. Thank you.
Thank you for your time and thank you for applying as well. Next candidate is Mr. Abdeeb Albaadani. Mr. Albaadani, you have 5 minutes to answer the 5 questions that were already provided to you. I'll just give you a fair warning at the 4.5-minute mark.
Yes.
Floor is yours whenever you're ready.
Okay, my pleasure. Okay, thank you guys for your consideration. And my name is Abdeeb Albaadani. I am glad to be here and considered for this application. For the first question. Okay, they say, why you interested in serving the board? As a father of 5 kids, currently attend Dearborn Public School, I have deeply personal and invested in the future of this district, our district. I am seeking a role because I am believe in school deserve leadership and both community road and future focus, especially during the time of transition and board leadership, district administration. Personally, I am pursuing an advanced degree in cybersecurity and digital forensic, with a strong foundation in legal and compilation and evidence and handling and this structural documentation. I have developed an ability to translation and complex technical and legal concept into clear, accessibly and guidance skills and initial policy interview and oversight. For the second question, school board member is stored on a public trust and the guidance of educational equality. The role is involved setting district and college policy approved and budget and concept, hiring and evaluation leadership, ensuring compliance in the state and federal laws. Trustee must be advocate, student and achievement in both. To the third question. Our recent decision, I felt strongly and about this board decision is potentially an infrastructure. Bonding and destruction, while community members raising concern about tax applications, and I believe the issue is touchable and manageable and responsible for government. Like I said here, I have couple roles and couple advisement I should be advised. Okay, to determine my vote, I will be balance community concern, public engagement, and transparency. Student need by assistant and how faculty impact learning and safety. Legal standards by ensuring compliance with bound laws. Staff, inbound and consultant educator on operational priorities. And my personal values with these priorities, long-term investment and equity in education. At the end, thank you for considering me for this application, and I hope and welcome me to serve the community and do the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Albaadani, for your time. Thank you for applying. Next applicant is Mr. Mark Trzeciak.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. You have 5 minutes to answer the 3 questions that were provided to you.
Okay, and these are the 3 questions here, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So I'll just give you a fair warning at the 4.5-minute mark.
All right, great. Thank you so much.
The floor is yours.
All right, first and foremost, I'd like to thank everybody for being here. There's some familiar faces I remember from November, as well as some familiar faces in the crowd. The long list of people applying for this is a testament to how people feel about the district and the schools and the commitment that the community has. So first, thank you for that. Secondly, I would like to think that I'm uniquely qualified for this position based upon my experience. I have a long history of being an educator at all levels. I've taught for the last 26 years, primarily in a middle school setting, but I've also taught high school, and I've also taught at the university level in the College of Education and the College of Technology, where I've taught classes all the way from 100 level all the way up to like capstone style classes. I think that coupled with my personal experiences with working at Dearborn schools for a little bit and then working in other districts, I think I can kind of have a pretty good grasp of the view of things from a different perspective. With that being said, one of the main reasons or specific skills that I think I have is subjective, being able to look at things subjectively and being able to listen to people's concerns and help them address them appropriately. I really feel that every person should have a voice in their child's education, and the education is, the primary factor in someone's success in life. Dearborn Schools does a great job of providing a lot of opportunities. In some cases, I think they're a little underutilized, but I'm here to try to make those more available to more people. Some of the roles and responsibilities that I see as a school board member, again, kind of like what I spoke about before, but furthermore, is to kind of identify some problems and identify areas that could use some fixing or some improvement. Some of the things that I've noticed and are of concern to me is some of the decline in performance that we have currently seen. We have a 95% graduation rate in this district, which is phenomenal. However, we have less than a 50% literacy rate, which is very disturbing to me. I think improving the academic product with some of the experience that I have will be a good thing. Improving literacy, improving academics is definitely something that needs to be addressed. And most of all, we need to foster a relationship of mutual trust and benefit centered on communication and transparency in this community. I really think that we're at a critical point right now in this district with the search for a new superintendent and a president of the college, as well as an upcoming potential bond issue. Really, every single thing that's done and every single thing that's said and everything that's not done and not said could all impact the ability of that bond. And that's why I'm here. One of the other things is identify a recent board decision that you felt strongly about. I didn't think it was fair to pick one decision and talk about that. Rather, I figured I would go with the idea that you guys have facts and there's two sides to every story. And I would hope that you would act like I would act and operate in the best interest of the school district as a whole. That's where I stand as, as a potential candidate for this position. I have to put some personal beliefs aside sometimes and do what's best for the educational product that we're trying to promote here in the district. So lastly, we're in a point where we need to do some modernization of this district. And, it's great to see some new faces, but we need to, have some people here involved that really have a good handle on what we're doing and improving the product as a whole. So
Thank you, Mr. Trzeciak.
thank you for your time, guys.
Thank you. Thank you for applying. Next candidate is Mr. Nasri Sobh. Welcome, Mr. Sobh. You have 5 minutes to answer the 3 questions that were already provided to you. I'll just give you a warning at the 4.5-minute mark. Floor is yours whenever you're ready.
All right, thank you so much. Just a quick introduction. My name is Nasri Sobh. A brief background. I'm a product and a graduate of the Dearborn Public School District. I earned my bachelor's in business administration from the University of Michigan Dearborn, and then went on to earn my JD MBA from Wayne State University. I'm currently a practicing attorney. I work in economic development for the city of Detroit. And through that, I do a lot of grant programming. And so I help allocate grant funding and other resources to build different programs across the city. And so a lot of that involves program oversight and building, program guideline creation, compliance and ethics overview, and then budget tracking and monitoring as well. Through that role, I also sit on several public authority boards. And so I'm very familiar with parliamentary procedure, decision-making process, and consensus-making process as well. Outside of that, I've spent the last 10+ years in the community working with students and families across the district through educational programs. I've done a lot of tutoring, mentorship, and career and college readiness programs. And that kind of pushed me and motivated me to seek a more formal role in education in the community. So this past fall, I just ran for a seat on this board. Unfortunately, and clearly I did not make it, but it was a fulfilling process nonetheless. I was able to knock over 10,000 doors in my campaign. I earned over 6,500 votes, and I spoke to thousands of constituents in the district, where I heard success stories and then also issues and concerns from community members as well. After that election was over, I continued my role in education in a different path. I completed my first semester as an adjunct professor at Henry Ford College, where I taught 2 classes this winter semester. And now I'm here, with this opportunity in front of me. And my goals are to make, a safe and inclusive school district, help provide accessible and equitable resources to all, and ensure student success. So as a potential board member, there are a few major roles and responsibilities, and I think those are to set the budget and set policy whenever necessary, hire and evaluate the superintendent and the president of Henry Ford, which we know are decisions that are coming up as well. And then be an advocate for all the stakeholders. So our parents, our community members, our staff, and then most importantly, our students. Students first should come at the forefront of every decision. And I think there are different ways to be a good board member. But I think, in the process of monitoring the district performance, monitoring the budget, and all the decision-making you have to do, due diligence and transparency are so important. Important to communicate, important to collaborate, especially when working amongst the board and then when working with different stakeholders and parties in the district. And then I'm a big advocate of, using research and data and other resources to help drive decision-making. And that leads me to the example, an example that I want to discuss, that this board issued in early 2025 when they issued out a contract to Quinn Evans for infrastructure evaluation services. It's something that stood out to me at the time and still does now for several reasons. Outside of the substantive, I'm a big advocate for infrastructure. But most importantly, I commend the board and everybody that was involved because a lot of due diligence was done, reaching out to the community members, getting stakeholder input, research. The procurement process was done formally. And I think this helped the transparency and helped build credibility. And I think it's so important to also invest and be able to back up that investment of time, money, and resources into such a big project like this. But to share what the outcome is and what the goals are with everybody, especially when everybody has contributed to those goals. So I think that was really important to me for those different reasons. I think the decision in itself is going to help build our community differently. Our community members who spend their tax dollars and who send their kids here are knowing where that money is going. And they also can ensure that their students are going to school in a safe place. We can ensure that our staff is teaching in a safe place, and that'll help retention and help comfortability. And on top of that, these are my personal values again, to be proactive, not reactive, to use the data, use resources that we have, and if we don't have the expertise to find it, and to help, drive these decisions. And with that, let's see, I'm running out of time here. But it would be an honor to work alongside this board and the administration and staff, and to serve our community. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Sobh, for your time, and thank you for applying. Next candidate is Ms. Samah Khatib.
Thank you.
Welcome, Ms. Khatib. You have 5 minutes to answer the 3 questions that were already provided to you. I'll just give you a warning at the 4.5-minute mark. Floor is yours whenever you're ready.
Let her know she can start.
You can start.
Oh, I can. There's no timer?
The timer's on the
Timer will
screen.
start when you start.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
It's okay.
Okay. Hi, I'm Samah. As a proud product of Dearborn Public Schools, McDonald School, Eunice, Fortson, Go Tractors, and Henry Ford's collegiate programs, I was able to accelerate my education and gain a head start. While many of my peers were still preparing for the next step, I was already laying the foundation of skills that would drive my future success. Just as importantly, I stayed rooted in my community, volunteering at local schools, helping families navigate challenges, and supporting programs that create safe, enriching spaces for children. My continued involvement in local initiatives has allowed me to stay connected to the needs of the students and families firsthand. Dearborn influenced who I am, and I feel a strong responsibility to give back by ensuring every student has the same opportunities to thrive that I was fortunate enough to have. As the Chief Executive Officer of a multidisciplinary healthcare agency serving both children and adults, I have experience making executive decisions that balance complex priorities, manage multi-million-dollar budgets, lead diverse teams, and uphold strict accountability standards by ensuring compliance with state and federal regulations. A significant part of my background lies in mental health and special education, where I have worked closely with students, families, and schools to develop individualized programs, provide staff training, and ensure services meet both legal requirements and each child's unique needs. I lead initiatives that impact not only the individuals we directly service, but also the families, educators, and communities that support them. I bring deep expertise in financial management, contract negotiation, revenue cycle operations, and ensuring responsible allocation of resources and maximizing limited funds to sustain and expand high-quality programs. My dedication to special education drives my commitment to equity, accessibility, and inclusion. This blend of leadership, advocacy, and financial stewardship positions me to contribute meaningful to the board's mission. Grounded in a background of science and evidence-based practices, I bring passion and executive decision-making skills to the board, along with a strong commitment to using resources wisely that will benefit all students. At this time, I am particularly motivated to serve as I see the unique challenges and opportunities facing both DPS and HFC, and I am genuinely determined to support my community that helps shape my success. Diversity of thought and experience benefits not only students and families with unique needs, but the entire community we serve. I bring a balance of teamwork, independent thinking, problem solving, and always striving towards a common objective while collaborating to create a solution. School board trustees are responsible for hiring and overseeing executive leadership, primarily the superintendent and currently the president of Henry Ford College, while also ensuring fiscal accountability through a balanced budget. They also review, amend, and improve policies as needed and serve as advocates for students and the community, keeping their voices central to decision-making. Among their critical decisions faced by the board, including the difficult period of navigating COVID, which was handled exceptionally well by the board, one I felt strongly about was the motion to adjust school schedules with later start times and early release dates. As a board-certified behavior analyst serving the Dearborn community, I see firsthand how crucial consistency and predictability are for families, especially those raising children with special needs. Structured routines are not just preferences, they are essential for helping students feel secure, regulate their behavior, and thrive in both academic and therapeutic settings. This decision carries broad implications. Families already face significant challenges arranging childcare, and for many parents of children with special abilities, schedules must also accommodate critical therapies and services outside of school. Frequent disruptions can limit children's opportunities to grow and learn, while also placing added stress on parents who are balancing multiple responsibilities amongst balancing other kiddos. I was grateful to serve as a trusted space for families, offering guidance, reassurance, and support as they navigated schedule changes, ensuring they felt heard while prioritizing their children's growth and success. While I recognize the value of later start times for student health and the importance of teacher planning time, I believe decisions like this must carefully balance student outcomes, community needs, and family realities. My position would be to minimize later start times while maintaining a limited number of early release dates that are truly necessary for professional development. At the same time, I would advocate for schools to continue to provide safe, reliable childcare options on site during those early release times to support families who need it. This approach ensures that instructional time and consistency remain priority while also addressing the real childcare challenges faced by working parents and families of children with special needs.
30
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for applying. Thank you for your time. I was just told that we do have some technical issues with the audio on YouTube, but that issue should be fixed. Anyway, the rebroadcast will have the full audio for everybody to watch after this meeting. Next candidate is Ms. Noha Alaouie. Hello, Ms. Alaouie. You have 5 minutes to answer the 3 questions that were already provided to you. I'll just give you a warning at the 4.5-minute mark.
Okay.
Floor is yours whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Good evening, Board Trustees. Thank you for having me. To answer the questions, for question number 1, the skills and attributes that I bring forth are the result of the different hats or titles that I've worn throughout my life. One of them, and the most important one, being a mother. Being a mother, of course, has changed me and affected me in many ways. But the most important one is since the moment my son was born, every decision I've made has been with his best interest in mind. And I would carry that same philosophy as a board trustee as the unofficial slogan for the district is students first. That would be my motto going forward, is what's in the best interest of the children. I'm also an educator of 16 years, so I know the ins and outs of the classroom. I know what challenges teachers are facing. I also know when we're looking at budgets and curriculum, what is negotiable and what's not when it comes to the classrooms. I'm also a current director of an early childhood center, so I bring forth my leadership skills, implementing policies, curriculum, and I know literacy is a hot topic, especially at the state and national level. So, you know, we have a lot to be proud of in this district, but if we can take it one step further and improve and not only stand out locally, but even nationally and the state level as well. And I'm also the co-founder of a nonprofit, and I serve as a commissioner on the Dearborn Disability Commission. And with both of those hats that I wear, I have been able to bring key stakeholders to the table. And for the sake of time, I can't bring up all the different initiatives that I have steered, but under those roles, I have brought key stakeholders to the table to not only discuss the concerns of our residents and families, but I've also implemented change and made sure that all the voices, and I emphasize on all voices, are heard throughout our community. I'm also a product of Dearborn Public Schools, and my son was as well. He just graduated from Fortson last year. And I bring this up because I think this is important because I'm invested in the schools and the success of the schools. For question 2, although I know the roles of a school board trustee is diverse and complicated, but also rewarding, for the sake of time to break it down, budget, staffing, and I think it's also very important that as a board trustee, you have to look at the bigger picture, which might not always align with public opinion. And we need to consider all involve not just the K through 12 families, because as we know, we have the Henry Ford Community College and we have the residents of the city of Dearborn as well. The decisions we make impact all, from the value of their homes to their tax dollars. And so we need to look at the big picture when we're making all decisions. For question 3, you've made many decisions, especially in the last 5 years. But one of the most recent decisions that stands out to me and that I've been following very closely is the infrastructure bond. I'm sentimental at heart, and the schools and the buildings mean a lot to me, but I also know the reality of the aging of our buildings. And we need to ensure that we are providing the most safest and most resourceful environment for the staff and the students. Transparency is key, and communication is key when we're looking at the bond, and those are something that I would be looking at in regards to how are we engaging the community in the decisions that we are making? Are we allowing them to have a voice and a seat at the table? And are we being transparent with how we are spending the funds? And are we ensuring that it's being projected in an equitable manner? Meaning, are we dividing and looking at the funds equally distributed from the south end to the east end to the west end? And are all schools given the same attention and funds and projects throughout the district? Balancing infrastructure needs and the fiscal responsibility are one of the key components to this as well. My values of accountability, equity, and student-first decision-making would be what would guide me in the decisions moving forward, and those are my personal values and beliefs. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time, Ms. Alaouie, and thank you for applying.
Thank you.
Next applicant is Mr. Ali Khraizat. Welcome, Mr. Khraizat. You have 5 minutes to answer the 3 questions that were already provided to you.
Great.
I'll give you a warning at the 4.5-minute mark.
Okay, great.
Floor
Thank you.
is yours whenever you're
Yeah.
ready.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity for me to express my interest in this role and position. I'll begin with question 1. Why are you interested in serving on the board, and what skills and qualities do you bring? I see this as an opportunity for me to engage and give back to my community that has given me a great environment to raise my family. And with the lack of federal financial support from our current administration for public school systems nationwide, we are facing unprecedented challenges, and it's imperative as a community that we work together to help ensure our children have access to an equitable education. The success of our children is what drives me. These are the drivers for me applying to the board. With regards to my skills and qualifications, my education began with civil engineering degree, followed by a master's degree in environmental engineering, which requires me to not only utilize my technical capabilities to solve problems, but also my soft skills to coordinate with multiple stakeholders, similar to what a trustee would be asked to do. I've had to work with multiple governmental agencies throughout my career to coordinate project work, including city water departments, regulatory agencies such as the EPA and DEQ, but most importantly with ratepayers and end users. With over 20 years of experience in managing large multidisciplinary capital improvement projects, taking into account competing agendas from multiple stakeholders, I was responsible for ensuring that everyone was heard and that some component of their interest was incorporated in the end product. And if it wasn't, I needed to be able to communicate clearly why. In addition to my experience as a senior project manager, I was a director of CIP for the Great Lakes Water Authority, where my team was responsible for the development of a 5-year, $1.7 billion reoccurring infrastructure program. For question number 2, what do you see as the roles and responsibilities of the school board? Some of those primary functions including setting the policies, evaluation of the school superintendent, adopting school budgets, but most importantly, being a reliable member of the board and a trusted advisor of this community. Identify a recent board decision you felt strongly about and describe how you would balance concerns. Well, on May 5th, a special study session was convened with the focus on infrastructure. The agenda for this meeting goes back to one of the reasons why I'm interested in this role. I spent a large part of my career analyzing risks associated with aging infrastructures and assets beyond their useful life. I feel strongly about being proactive in addressing needs before they translate into a larger, more costly issue for the district. This is a key part of what is needed to help ensure our students continue to have access to a fair and equitable education. I'm also aware that issues like this can be complex and have competing interests. I believe that a collaborative approach, utilizing analytical methods when possible, such as a risk assessment matrix based on probability and consequence of failure, can help to provide structure and rank priorities for the district. This is an opportunity from different stakeholders to contribute to what's important and how to rank these things so we can get them all done by order of importance. So this is just one example of a transparent collaborative approach that could be utilized with the input from multiple stakeholders and shared with the community for transparency. And this concludes my answers to the 3 questions.
Thank you, Mr. Khraizat, for your time, and thank you for applying.
Appreciate it.
Next applicant is Mr. Ali Abazeed.
Thank you. Welcome.
Welcome, Mr. Abazeed. You have 5 minutes to answer the 3 questions that were already provided to you. I'll just give you a warning at the 4.5-minute mark. The floor is yours whenever you're ready.
Awesome. Good evening, trustees. My name is Ali Abazeed, and I hope to earn your trust and vote of confidence to serve as your colleague on this esteemed board. Before I tell you a little bit about myself, I'd love to just congratulate all the applicants who stepped forward and applied. I just had a chance to meet with several of them. I can tell you it was a collegial, fun environment. There are some awesome people who applied for this, several of whom I know and deeply respect, and I look forward to just talking to you a little bit about my candidacy, but I don't think you can make a wrong decision here. A little bit about me and why I stepped forward in this moment of time. Each step in my career has been about building institutions that serve people. At the federal level, that was about working with states, cities, tribal communities. That was about learning the importance of transparency, of learning the importance of policy and process. That was also about learning, I think, the most important thing that we do, which is how do you center people at the core of decision-making and policy-making. That was working in and among communities in rural Appalachia. That was working with scientists across the American South. That was working in and among tribal communities across the Southwest. And if you know anything about those communities, they often have disparate and often diverging opinions on things. And so you quickly learn the importance of centering disagreement in our policy decisions and in our decision making. And I think that that's crucial to the work that we do. Not pretending that disagreements don't happen, not pretending that it's something to sidestep, but incorporating it into the cauldron of things that we all use on a day-to-day basis to make decisions. That's the kind of leadership ability and experience that I would bring to this board. But beyond that, it's an investment in the youth. In Dearborn, the first thing that I did when I moved back was establish a fellowship program to invest in our youth. That's a fellowship program that empowers our youth, our students, to gain the tools and the confidence to lead. And I'm really proud that today the DPH Fellowship Program is one of the strongest, most robust public service pipelines across our state. That's the kind of experience that I would bring to this board. That's the kind of perspective that I would bring to this board. And it's fundamentally because I understand the role of this board, which is to govern. It's not to manage day-to-day operations. It's to set policy. It's to manage budgets and contracts. It's to hire and evaluate leadership. And it's also fundamentally about making sure that we're overseeing facilities and capital improvement. Just as importantly, though, I think the fundamental role of the board is to serve as a bridge between the communities it serves and the schools, so that students and their families know that they are centered in all the decisions that we make as a body. That's something that I've done in Dearborn. That's something that I've done at all levels of my career. And it's something that I would be honored to do as a school board member as well. Finally, on decisions, the way that I think about decisions that this board has made is that whether I was out of state, walking the land, as they say, or whether it's being back in Dearborn as a resident, I've followed with intrigue and interest the decisions that this board has made. And you know, in public health, we have a saying that there's no more important a population to our work than the school-based population. Because where else do you get a reliable population from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.? And also because we recognize the link between education and health. That said, I've followed with real close intrigue the decisions that the board has made since the failed 2019 BRICS bond millage. And I think that the board in 2022, when it sort of took a step back, decided not to rush, decided to set out on a long-term evidence-based policy, a 30-year facility study, which was presented out in 2023. And then the decision that this board, in January of this year, that you all made to bring in experts, to both refine those cost estimates, but also to do the thing that I think is most critical, which is lead with community engagement. I thought that those decisions were exceptional. I thought that those are decisions that were wise, and those are decisions that I too would have supported as a board member, because I think we all know that the most important thing that we can do is center our community residents' voices, not only because it's the right thing to do, but if you're setting out on a process, you want to make everyone feel, the grassroots organizations, the community organizations, the residents themselves, you want them to feel like they have some sense of ownership over the process, because by doing that, you're set up for success and sustainability over the long run. And those are decisions that I would make as a school board member as well. So in closing, what I would say is that in my career, what I've learned is that there are three of the most important rules to governance. One is leading with integrity. Two is leading on behalf of the public, stewarding public resources on behalf of people. And I think the most important thing is leading with courage on behalf of our residents. I thank you all for your service, and I thank you for the opportunity to share more about myself today.
Thank you, Mr. Abazeed, and thank you for applying.
Thank you.
Next applicant, and then we'll take a 5-minute break right after that, is Ms. Noha Beydoun. Questions that were already provided to you, I'll just give you a warning at the 4.5-minute mark. Floor is yours whenever you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready.
Go ahead.
Good evening, and thank you all for the opportunity to speak with you. My interest in serving on the Board of Trustees comes from the students I work with every semester at the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, where I'm a faculty member in the Comprehensive Studies program. In specific, I'm talking about the students I meet there from our community. These students have a pride in their city and an eagerness in their face to succeed. And they are brilliant byproducts of our school district that's working tirelessly, relentlessly, and clearly very, very effectively to bridge the gaps in systemic inequities. The current moment, however, poses some challenges. The changing learning needs of our students, coupled with uncertainty in federal funding and programs, poses problems. My own career trajectory in and out of the classroom has been dedicated to developing robust, anti-racist, inclusive educational spaces. But I also know that we can't solve these problems in just the classroom spaces alone. It has to happen at the policy level too. I want to work alongside you all to respond to these challenges, to ensure that our students can continuously achieve elite higher education. I think I'm a uniquely positioned candidate because I have an outsider's perspective working in elite higher education settings, but I also have the insider's perspective of being a Dearborn native. I'm the daughter of immigrants, a first-generation college student. Before I got my PhD, I was certified in secondary education, and I taught in both public and private schools, the latter of which I most recently led through accreditation. I taught at Henry Ford College, and I'm currently highly engaged in community nonprofit work. I think this breadth of experience offers me a skill set that aligns with what it takes to carry out the board's mission. In terms of what the roles and responsibilities are of a school member, and any of the board capacities that I've served on previously, I see the role of a board as both practical and principled. On paper, the school board of trustees' responsibilities, of course, include ensuring a balanced budget, setting and implementing policy, hiring the superintendent and the college president, forging community relationships. But in the broader context, I see this as a healthy checks and balances to provide oversight to ensure that the highest level administrators are carrying out policy and resource allocations that truly meet the needs of our students and of our community. I highlight my recent work on 2 search committees to hire a new senior director of the department I work for, CSP. I would bring the same lens of accountability and care to the school board. In terms of identifying a recent board decision that I felt strongly about, I'm going to point to the millage bond. because it drew in all such aspects, the questions asked, and that which we need to consider when setting policy. The policy itself caused quite the stir. There were concerns of misinformation and how it would impact taxpayers and the community at large. But I think the broader question here, though, is how I would approach voting on such issues. To which I would say, let's look at the data. What data do we have and what data do we need? Our community is not by any means monolithic, and the data can come from a number of sources. But importantly, it needs to reflect the unique concerns of all of the stakeholders, students, teachers, administrators, and our broader community. And this is totally in line with the school board's current efforts in surveying the community now. And in the recent request, for example, by Trustee Al-Jahmi to make dashboard data accessible from our schools, I think that it speaks to the transparency and the ethics by which you all are already governing. From there, we then collaborate with others to determine what the needs are and how we can what we can feasibly do. Here I highlight my recent work in the university-wide initiative of the Department Action Teams for Equity-Focused Teaching, where we looked at data on both culture and climate and student achievement to set goals that would enhance the student experience across CSP. I just want to end on a note that on a personal level, I would not be applying to fill a vacancy if my personal values and beliefs didn't align with the mission and vision of our district, and that is students first. Thank you again.
Thank you, Ms. Beydoun, and thank you for applying. Okay, we will take a 5-minute break and we'll come back with the other candidates. So let's take 5 minutes break.